are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you're doing well. No matter where you are on this beautiful blue and green planet of ours, it is Tuesday, another day for a wonderful Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. This is where I share all the information I have in regard to technology, my experiences, life, love, you name it. That's why we're here. So thank you so much for joining me. And I have quite a few of you here on the different social networks. Subi Panda 1001 is saying, BC, thank you for joining me on TikTok. Hello BC, says Tio Bausenda here on Instagram. And YouTube Live, I have a couple of people there already coming in as well. And through the podcasting networks, whether it's on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasters, you name it, just do a search for Bisimoto. And all of my opportunities come up in terms of archiving. So thank you so much for joining. It's a nice cool day here in Southern California, not as crazy hot, not crazy cold. I have my little members only jacket and a nice t-shirt made by Melissa for me, which is pretty cool. But thank you so much for joining, and hopefully you are doing well. Any electricity on your mind, says P. Clarks 310. He must be talking about all the EV projects we have going on. In this room alone, we have a petrol car here, EV conversion there, petrol. Petrol in the back right there, the Honda Prologue right there, getting some nice updates courtesy of Brando's Auto Care in Chino, California. They're down here doing some great stuff. Love me some Bisimoto, says Jessica Wood. Thank you so much, hon, for coming on board. Appreciate you, love you as well. Yellow 914, what are the plans, says King Buttress. No plans yet. Initially, I was going to do some kind of Black 6 swap, but at this point, I have too many projects. I may just get rid of it. I don't know. It's a nice one. It has a 2.0 in it. It runs quite nicely. It'll be nice as is with the patina, but I kind of like nice new paint jobs. So who knows what's going to go on there. But right now, I don't have any plans for that as we speak. Oh, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate the kind words on TikTok. Thank you, Guy Bentley. Thank you for joining. I'm scheming up a turbo M96, says Ortolomoto. Love the name, by the way. I can't believe this week that you are next to the 986. Yes, I have a 986 here, twin turbo, 986 there, EV, large drive unit, and a 987 right to my left, your right, which is pretty nice. And if you're gonna build yours, there's some opportunity areas for the M96 engines. And for those of you wondering, what is an M96? This is Porsche's first foray into the flat six water-cooled arena. Start off with the Boxster, and then the second iteration of the M96 became the M97 for the Cayman. Now the M96s are engines that I tend to find quite appealing because the heads flow amazingly well. Big valves, nice buckets with direct actuation of the camshaft to the bucket itself. The buckets are hydraulic, and I've kept them that way. They can have a lot of opportunities to make good power. There are some limitations there in the engines that should be addressed. One is the cylinder sleeve itself. De-chunking is something that happens. That's quite common, where you can think of the cylinder wall. The top of the cylinder can kind of break off and form like a D shape, so they call that D-chunk. So that's a weak spot there. The intermediate shaft has a bearing assembly that sometimes needs to be addressed to be able to prevent any kind of issues later on down the line. There is a small percentage of failures based upon that, but you want to be safer than sorry to just update those nonetheless with an oil-fed one or non-oil-fed assembly. And then above and beyond that, connecting rods and valve train. You address the sleeving, connecting rods, pistons while you're already in there, the intermediate shaft, and you have a pretty stout engine that can make 4 digits all day, all night with a lot of torque. So a lot of good opportunity there. So if you have the need for any components, whether it's valve train, springs retainers, camshafts, I even have lots of rods in stock, hit us up. We're more than happy to assist you there. On YouTube, HC Reviews says, God bless BC. Good to see you. 981 manual base here. Good choice. 981 is also a Porsche Cayman assembly. I'm going to do a YouTube binge on all your videos. Thank you so much, HC Reviews. Appreciate that. I'll continue to put more on the Bisimoto channel. I also have a new EV-based channel known as EV Moto BC. So EVMOTOBISI, look it up, and we have some nice opportunities coming there as well. What's the name of my website? Says Jorge Candelario 75745. It's Bisimoto, BISIMOTO.com. Alex 88888 from El Paso is in the house. Thanks so much for joining. Ken Show, long time. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Thanks for joining here at Bisimoto Live. Yoshi Build gave my first #1 gifter badge. Appreciate that indeed. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jorge Canlero 745 said, thanks, BC. Appreciate that indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. There is a comment from Jan Kraus. I think that's in German, which I don't speak, but something to do with Netflix. Yes, I've been on quite a few shows on Netflix, from Pastor's Car to Hyperdrive as well. It's pretty good indeed. Had some good fun and more to come by the grace of God. Oh, I got another gifter badge, courtesy of Alex8888. Thank you so much. What do you think of Jay Leno's garage? Says Chris De Natural. Jay Leno is someone who actually makes me feel great about being an enthusiast that loves different forms of propulsion. Jay Leno's garage is just absolutely amazing. If you go to his facility in Burbank, California. For those of you who do not know who Jay Leno is, he's a big-time celebrity. Started off his life as a stand-up comedian, then went through the ranks and became the host for many, many years for The Tonight Show, which is a late-night show interviewing celebrities and talking about current events. For many years, did quite well, and he's a hardcore auto enthusiast. So Jay Leno is just a guy who just loves cars, and if you go to his stable, he has everything from motorcycles to bicycles, and on the car side, he has tanks, steam vehicles, early electric vehicles, later electric vehicles, petrol vehicles, alcohol vehicles. I think he had a car running on ammonia. Just a great guy. And the guy is very, very clever. And I'll share with you guys some insights around Jay Leno, which is quite interesting. He drove a 1,000 horsepower minivan. As a matter of fact, let me go over what he drove in our stable. The 1,000 horsepower minivan he drove. This center seat right here, you can see the carbon fiber wheels right next to me. It's like, I don't know if I can switch this around a little bit. You can see that right there. That's a center drive twin turbo Porsche. Started his life as a 986 and had a carbon fiber roof that was motored off the 987. Put on top of it, he's driven that as well. The wagon back there, he drove that, which is pretty cool. He did a K3V electric vehicle, did that twice. He loved it so much, he did 2 episodes, one with him and Mr. Watts. And then the second one he did by himself, or him and I actually cruise around, did that, which is quite nice. So it's been a great journey. He's driven that as well. And then as you think about some of the other things he's done with us, he, on my last episode, kind of come up with a concept of building an electric Rolls Royce. And that's why we finished the one that we have in here recently. And I plan to bring that to him as soon as I get my interior situation handled, because it's not quite up to par right now. So that being said, it's been a great journey. So Jay Leno is someone who, just a little bit of a backgrounder, when he drove the Odyssey, he knew how much power he made. He's like, this is like 1,000 horsepower, a true 1,000, which is great. Because we went to Streets of Willow and he drove that and the center seat. And he got in and he just, I don't know how his butt is calibrated, but he kind of just knew what was what. And he was very excited because he said so many people bring him 1,000 horsepower cars and they never are, and ours was legit. So he was really excited to see that we had a vehicle that was a minivan that was very powerful and a lot of fun, quite reliable. He drove the all-wheel drive sequential gearbox vehicle back there, and he knew, he's like, this is about 750 to the wheels. I'm like, yeah, 770. He was close knowing that. Same with this, 400 to the wheels, right here next to me, twin turbo center seat. The guy can send a car, drive like, I don't know what it is about him. He's very talented. He can tell horsepower by just driving a car. So he's the kind of guy who said, BC, if you build a bicycle, I will drive it. He's been really that great, which is pretty nice, you know? Turbo CB gave my 3rd gifter badge. Thank you so much on TikTok for sharing that with me. I appreciate that indeed. Samuel on YouTube is saying, big fan. Let's see here. Love everything you do, a true engineer and car enthusiast. Thank you so much. And I really do love cars. I've been getting a lot of slack and pushback recently from some individuals in the automotive community who feel that because I embrace electrification, that I'm not a true enthusiast, which is quite ridiculous. Just like Jay Leno I spoke about earlier, he loves everything from steam to electric to petrol. He's all across the board. And I'm the same way. If it goes fast, I love it. The one thing I love about the electric cars, the torque is ridiculous. Yesterday on my live feeds, I posted this Porsche Boxster that we converted for Apple Studios that got some updates from the guy who bought it from the studio. And it's just been absolutely fantastic, which is great. And that thing has some get up. It has this cool, futuristic whine to it. And it is, with 300 horsepower and more torque than you can shake a stick at, it is really, really fast. It's absolutely spectacular. So yeah, I love it all. Whether it's petrol, twin turbo, single turbo, high RPM, high displacement, small displacement, even natural aspiration, I love it. Electrification, I love it. Alcohol-based fuels, I love those. I haven't played with steam. I haven't played with hydrogen, but we'll see what the future has in store for us, huh? Boosted boy Kyle wants that smoke love your cars BC, says RJ619. Yes, and that's something I heard as well. I've heard from many of you that the team from Boosted Boys, which is like, I think those guys have like a YouTube channel. They're quite popular there. They've done a lot of things that kind of follow in our footsteps. As you can imagine, we built the first wagon van in 2008. And then we followed up with the Odyssey in 2013 for American Honda. And they also built Odysseys after us and built wagons after us. And I was quite excited to see that people are starting to see these boxy, econo people movers as opportunities for high performance power. And then next thing I hear, they're calling me out, talking crap that we should race each other, or I don't know what that, I haven't even seen it. But it's unfortunate that even in our industry that people just don't admire each other and get along. So Kyle, I don't know why you're calling me out. Good for you. I'm a very busy man. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing it. The way to get more popular is not to call out other builders, especially those that create opportunities prior to you. Anyway, Luke Workman from YouTube says, we love you, BC. Thank you so much. You're going to jump for joy when you visit our EV battery R&D lab in El Segundo, my friend. Luke Workman, please send me an invite. El Segundo is a stone throw. I'm going to be in Torrance this weekend. El Segundo is not too far away from there. It took me like 40 minutes to get out there. I'll be more than happy to do that, you know? So please let me know. Are you still in Ontario, says Daniel Ramirez. Yes, I am. Center of the Universe, Ontario, California. How do you say that? D-M-A-U-G-G, Damwag. What are your thoughts on hybrid motors, like hybrid with combustion motor, just weird stuff like that? So I do appreciate the technology that goes around that, being able to have, let's say for example, what the P1 had or the Honda CRZ, which we have our very first build here, which I need to do something really clever with that very soon. Or even the Gen 2 NSX. When I say Gen 2, not the NA1 to NA2, but the entire NC, new resurgence of the NSX. That was really great. I see from a technology perspective, the beauty of having the sound and feedback that people are accustomed to with a petrol engine, and then incorporate that with electric motors to allow for that immediate torque that you can experience as low as 1 RPM. You combine the two and you have an amazing torque curve. So that's some of the best things I like about that. What I do not find appealing is if you're on petrol only, you're dragging an electric motor set and batteries with you. If you're on EV only, you're just driving around this ICE mill with you as well, making things from an engineering perspective not as efficient. I like pure EVs or BEVs, battery electric vehicles. They tend to stick with one efficient power plant and make a lot of amazing torque. And then when I want to have fun, that kind of excites the senses more. You can play around with some of the petrol power plants, like the twin turbo 935s we have, which are just amazing indeed. So I like the two. The combination, I understand from an enthusiast perspective. If I was just thinking about sound and the performance combined, I think it's a great idea. And from scratch, it can be quite an involved process to make the VCU of the electric motor and the ECU of the petrol engine work in unison, but it can be done quite effortlessly, but it's a little involved nonetheless. But it's really a good idea. But from an efficiency perspective, I don't like dragging on components, especially if you have those vehicles that start off with a, let's say, combo hybrid where you can run on EV and the petrol engine comes on. Many a time, those two combined, when the engine comes on, it tends to be quite dirty. E-Rev, something that Scott Motors is doing, I think Nissan is getting into that. E-Rev is where You have an electric setup, and then you have a very efficient petrol engine, which hovers around the peak efficiency perspective, narrow RPM band to create electric power to then charge up and give you more range. I'm okay with that to some extent. But in-house, I haven't built any performance hybrids personally. That didn't come from a manufacturer, not quite yet. Let's see here. You're an inspiration, brother. You're old school. I think it's friendly call out. Okay, no problem. Yeah, friendly call outs are great. But I just haven't seen it. I'm really busy. I'm here with all of you guys, friends and family. I really don't have time to go and start racing random YouTubers. I don't know what to say about that. Greetings from Finland and hello to you, Warrior Fella. Hello. Life of, how do you say it? Ulai? I don't know how to say that. Greetings from Finland. Love your work and your fearless attitude towards your projects. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And appreciate you noticing that. It's something that the team and I really pay attention to. We don't shy away from the unknown. Whether it's a brand new Honda Prologue, like what's back there, whether it's a twin turbo setup that no one's built before, whether it's I was talking to one of my potential clients where we plan on doing something really unique for his air-cooled setup, putting drive-by-wire and all that fun stuff, full knock control, closed-loop feedback in terms of boost control, all that fun stuff. I'm not afraid of it. I just love walking the path, never walking. I just love creating. It's really good indeed. So I appreciate that. AKD Build to Performance. Hello, brother. Thank you so much for joining. By the way, AKD Build to Performance is a gentleman who's extremely, very, very talented, very creative, a great builder, helped with a lot of drivetrain components on that wagon you see back there, and just an amazing guy. If you haven't checked out his website, he's all over the place. He's on Instagram, he's on YouTube, he's on TikTok. Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much, Ever thought of anything unique with a beat? Do you mean like the automotive beat or something else? Please give me some clarity, Damien, on TikTok. I'll be more than happy to explore. Dapper Dabber 710, thank you so much for joining. Good seeing you. Samuel says from YouTube, Cadillac VLMDH on Daytona Le Mans races. Really cool car. Flat plane V8 with electric motor and insane sound. Yes, and like I mentioned earlier, forgive me for being redundant, anything where there's a sense for the sound, but also the performance advantages of the electric motor combined makes for a quite amazing experience, driving experience, indeed. It's actually, I am just big on efficiency as well, so I like to separate the two whenever possible. Hope all is well, BC, says N Marantidis on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. Good seeing you indeed. Thank you. How do you look so young still, says Ty Baker, or Barker. Well, I guess really clean living. I don't do drugs. I don't drink much. I try to work out whenever I can. I surround myself with great people. My girl's amazing, family's great. I just love being around positive, great things. And I would say also genetics. I'm fortunate enough to where on my mother's side of the family especially, they tend to look very, very young. You see my mom, she looks like she's in her 40s or 50s. And my grandfather, before he passed away, he lived well into his hundreds, looked really great. Just had this beautiful hair, looked very almost like, he looked almost Persian. It was just great guys. I love my grandfather. Yeah, I miss him very much. But yeah, it's totally genes. I'm very fortunate, in addition to good, clean living. Edward Dizzy is asking, how much power can a stock F22C hold? What's reliable and what's pushing the limits? Great question. So I've done a lot. An F22C is the engine out of the Honda S2000, in particular the AP2. That has a 2.2 liter engine, which kind of peters out about 8,000 RPMs, has a lot more torque than the earlier 9,000 RPM setup. We have pushed those engines reliably to about 640 horsepower to the wheels boosted, without qualm, on ethanol, all day, all night. Past that, I've seen some people do it for 700, 750. Sorry about the noise. My guys are grinding back there, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully they'll be done pretty soon. So back to the S2000 thing. I've seen some people try and push 700, some 50, some 40. I don't know how long those last, but we've done 650 here in-house. And paying attention to knock levels when tuning, it is right there on E85. The weak spot on those engines are the connecting rods and to some extent the sleeves. So connecting rods, if you look at the S2000 connecting rods, they are okay, but you need to be very careful tuning to make sure you don't have any pre-ignition detonation that can really just make things go haywire. But in my experience, on my dyno here in-house, 640 horsepower is what I was comfortable with an engine of good health without qualm. Complex Design on YouTube says, hybrid equals best of both performance worlds. I hear you, not as efficient, but by all means, if that's, I would say, let's say my dad, who's an enthusiast, he'd love a hybrid all day, all night. He'll love the immediate get up of the electric motor, then merging into the petrol engine, having the sounds, all that fun stuff. So also in California, we're very, very limited to what we can do for street-faring vehicles. I still do tuning in-house. I can only tune off-road vehicles. Nothing that's registered, nothing with license plates. I can't do that here in my facility. So that being said, California is very pro zero emissions or low emission vehicles. So for me to be able to have electric vehicles with the performance, and then of course my performance EVs have a great sound, all that stuff is great. All that stuff is great indeed. Luke, or is it Luke 3N? Luke 3N, I don't know how you say that, is asking, what is the black Porsche behind me? So the red and black are kind of two twin vehicles. My good friend Sam helped me put these together. They are center drive Porsches. Started off their life as 986 Boxsters, but then have a carbon fiber roofs. I don't know, I can't quite show it to you, but if you go on YouTube and do Bisimoto Boxster or Bisimoto Porsche, Jay Leno, you see what he drove it and how much fun he had driving the center seat. He just had a blast. He said it's one of the best race cars he's ever driven. So well balanced, great power, push to pass. So the red one is a twin turbo setup, 400 horsepower with a push of a button can do a scramble boost for additional 50 horsepower. The black one there is an EV version of it. So we're putting together a large 450 horsepower drive unit in there. They will both be similar. So when we're done, I want to do a ton of videos between the two. They'll have the same tires, same footprint, same setup, same peak power. I anticipate, sorry about the noise guys, I anticipate the black one just being ridiculously fast out the gate and just smoking the twin turbo. But as you get up in very high speeds, the twin turbo may keep up. And then for longevity around the track, of course, that will run out of battery soon, and this won't. So, in my opinion, guys, I'm so sorry about the noise. I'm so sorry. My team is working away. We have so much going on. So sorry. Ortelo Moto is saying, I can't wait for the video series. It would be a great education, right? Two equal cars, similar weight, same aero, same bodies, same center drive, one petrol, one electric. Petrol one, great sounds. EV one, different sound. Autocrossing, I'm sure the black one will just massacre. Road racing, I'm sure the red one will rule supreme. Drag racing, let's find out. I have my idea what's gonna happen, but it should be pretty good. It should be pretty good. Is it a Boxster? Do you take it to track? Yes, I do. If you go on my Bisimoto YouTube feed, which are on YouTube here when we're done, feel free to go there. You will notice I did quite a bit of racing. You didn't see me racing. I think I was racing a C6 Corvette. And then you see me do the push to pass. And I'll press the button and I kind of turn around. Maybe on Thursday, I'll do a flashback Thursday. Or throwback Thursday showing what I did at Buttonwillow. I think that was a track where I had some fun with this red center seat. So I'll be able to put that up. The noise is not a problem, says Complex Design. Okay, sounds good. I'm glad to hear that because for me over here, it sounds like just right there behind me in the fab area. It sounds really loud, so forgive me indeed, you know? A twin turbo Porsche sounds deadly, especially if it doesn't have anti-lag. Wow, well Luke 3N, anti-lag does make it sound really crazy. That's where you interrupt spark every other revolution, and then you retard timing and add fuel so that instead of having much of the combustion happen in the combustion chamber in the motor, it happens in the turbine. And when you have explosions happen in the turbine, it spools the turbo quickly so you can have a large turbo act like a small one, hence anti-lag, so it's not laggy. And then as a result, you have these beautiful flames shooting out the back because you're literally creating combustion opportunities in the turbine of the turbo, right next to the exhaust. So you see all these crazy flames. So there's a performance benefit there above and beyond, looking pretty freaking cool. I can't do flames on an EV. I could, but that'd be a big problem, wouldn't it? Do you still have the turbo van? Says Jones at 550. Yes, I do. It's at the residence. I still have the Bisimoto Odyssey, upgraded to some cool turbos from our good friends at Garrett. And the cool thing about that is that the new Garrett G Series turbos have amazing aerodynamics. So I have the same similar, 1029, 1030 horsepower, but my air under curve is just ridiculous. Turbo's a little bit smaller, package-wise, usually, so it looks smaller. It's not as menacing, but that thing spools. I have, before I used to run R888 Toyos, now I have to run Toyo RR slicks in the front now, which is pretty crazy, What do you think about Ghost Cam? I don't know what a Ghost Cam is. Please do share. I'm not familiar with that concept, It doesn't have anti-lag. It doesn't, the turbo kick in at random being really, what? If it doesn't have anti-lag, doesn't the turbo kick in at random? No, naturally, the turbo will have the dynamics of the engine to be able to spool the turbine, which is directly cogged to a wheel in the compressor housing. So size of the turbine and compressor wheels combined with the housing surrounding them and the dynamics of the engine dictates how much lag or not that you have. A huge turbo on a large displacement will spool much faster than a small displacement engine with the same turbo. But if you have anti-lag, where you do tend to retard the timing significantly, I'm talking about as much as many times 25 degrees, 30 degrees retardation, adding fuel so the combustion can be nice and proper, and then initially, kind of have a bit of a spark interruption to keep it at a certain RPM band. What you'll end up happening is, and it's hard on turbos, but it's quite useful. You can spool the turbo by combusting in the turbine, and the big turbo acts like a smaller turbo and start pushing air into the combustion chamber very quickly, or combustion chamber of your engine or intake manifold, and then you have this amazing opportunity for an explosive launch, or if you do rolling anti-lag, you can have this immediate power out the hole, which is pretty good, Garrett beat turbos in, Garrett best turbos in my opinion, says Boy Toy Click. Thank you so much, I concur. For the 987.1, says Swerve on TikTok, do you have to do anything to the engine to run the twin turbos? No. The only challenge, Swerve, is that when you run twin turbos on a factory power plant, you have to limit how much power you make, because once again, you're dealing with factory valve train. A lot of people don't think about valve train, but you should when boosting, whether you're natural, with a natural aspiration, high RPM, where you're boosting in terms of supercharging or turbocharging, the valve spring has this task of being able to keep your valve movement orchestrated by the cam properly without speed jumping off the cam and creating some kind of float, which can hurt power. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you can drop a valve and destroy your engine. Also, a lot of pistons, because they are for mass production, are cast, so you can't go too crazy with boost and power because you can break ring lines. Then you have connecting rods, which connects from your pistons to your crankshaft. Those rods are typically very lightweight and efficient, so manufacturers can help with efficiency. Many times, if you boost too much, you can break the rods or throw a rod as a block. And then compression. Many factory natural aspirated cars, especially 981, 97, 96s, have decent compression, anywhere from 11 to 12 to 1, depending. You can't go too crazy on boost, especially on your fuels, because you can run out of the octane protective capability of your fuel. So, that is a limitation. Many times, including this Cayman, I don't know if you can see that, let me see. You can't see on TikTok, but I can put it right there, there's a twin turbo set up there. When that was a stock setup, I did about 340, close almost 350 to the wheel on that, and I stopped there because it started getting a little noisy and knock. That's why I stopped it. Now, if you address those shortcomings, cleave the block, go with pistons, rods, valve train, and upgrade your fuel system and cooling system accordingly, you can make 1,000 horsepower on those flat sixes. Yes, on the 987 block, you can make 4 figures. And then the only problem you have then is your drive train, breaking gearboxes. Swerve gave me a number 3 gifter badge. Thank you so much, Swerve. Appreciate that. Big Uncle Elmer. Good seeing you, brother. How are you? Elmer, someone I've known for many, many years to help with the turn of pistons back in the day. It's it's great to have so many friends that you can rely on and know and have a great time with over the decades. Can I have the Odyssey? Matthew Holt said. Only if you offer me something I cannot refuse. But at this point, I can't just give it away. Yes, sir, I see Stitch, says Ralph. Hello, Ralph, sir. Ralphers DMs. Good seeing you. Yes, Stitch is right there. Stitch's nickname of my 2,600 Insight that broke lots of records that still hold to today. I've won so many events with that car, did so many championships. That thing paid for itself so many times over because I just made so much money. It's just great indeed. Wow, so much love here on YouTube. Thank you so much, guys, on YouTube for joining. Appreciate you and all the questions as well. Let's see. I have a question from, let's see. Okay, Samuel. He says, I'm really curious about the Honda Insight build. Is it a K-Series motor? Such a cool car with a power to weight ratio. So, Samuel, that's a great question. When I first saw the Honda Insight come out in the mid-2000s, I saw one driving on the freeway, and I was like, oh my God, that is a perfect race car. It has that teardrop shape with that cam terminations in the very back. At the time, it had the lowest coefficient of any road-going vehicle in terms of drag. It looked like the perfect race car. And then to boot, full aluminum. And rumor had it, and I think this rumor was true, that Honda lost money on every vehicle that they sold that was an Insight variety. Same thing like the earlier NSXs. They did it as a great way to showcase their engineering prowess and just lost money each time they sold one because it was just more expensive to manufacture than they could sell it for. So that being said, when I finally found one in the wrecking yard, I was able to go grab one and convert it to the race car that broke all type of barriers for me and the Bisimoto group. No, it didn't have a K-Series, my good friend. It had an F22A non-VTEC engine that came out of a 91 Accord. And why did I choose that? Twofold. One, it was me really showing what I could do with an engine that's unloved. Secondly, I was able to transfer all the technology that I kind of honed in my D-Series, D15, D16 time into an F22A with like a big block D-Series. And the first time we went to the track, we went to Carlsbad with it. Mind you, I ran 10.7 all day, all night with my D-Series. That was the best time I had. I took the same technology, put it in that kind of vehicle. First time on the track, I went from 10.7 to 10.2. Right? Nothing else, 10.2. And then as I continued to push the envelope with that engine, we got it down to 9.2 officially. When I say officially, we did some crazy stuff at the racetrack and testing, but at an event, at the IDRC event in Fontana, we did a 10.2 at 150 miles an hour, 154 miles an hour. And speaking of 150 miles an hour, that Insight was the first front-wheel drive, all motor, to hit 150. And I remember when I did that, people were protesting, talking crap, saying, oh, he's cheating, he has nitrous. They went through my car. No, guess what? Fast forward today, people do 150s all the time. Natural aspirator, right? But at the time, it was unheard of. I think the fastest time's like 144, 143. And we just hit 150 and people freaked out. It was just amazing, you know? Most of my VW friends miss Carlsbad too, says Ralph first. Yes, Ralph. It was a great track. Just fun, not too far away. It took like an hour and a half to get there from this area. What a great track. Now it's gone, bunch of homes. I think the same thing is happening in Irwindale. We lost, I'm gonna just share with you guys what we lost in the past couple of decades. Maybe even earlier than that. Long Beach. Long Beach had drag strip. Brotherhood Raceway in Terminal Island, gone. Palmdale, LACR, gone. Sacramento Raceway, gone. Irwindale drag strip, gone. We were then blocked from racing at Pomona, at the raceway. Fontana's gone. We don't have any tracks. It's just so sad. It's just a sad need. Ghost cam, adjust the cam timing overlap at idle. This makes the engine lope and sound like it has aggressive cams. Edward Dizzy, cool concept. I am not big on just doing things for fun and sound. I'm a performance guy, like through and through, and that's the reason why I just love EVs even, because they're just super fast, no matter how it sounds, you know? So Edward Dizzy says it makes a four-cylinder sound like a V8 in idle. Just put some Bisimoto level X cams in there. You have the performance and the sound that you need. You have both. So to kind of adjust overlap just for the sake of sound is cool, but not my cup of tea. I appreciate you sharing that though, however. Have you heard of a V8 made out of a 2K series engine? Says Boy Toy Click. Yes. There's a gentleman on Instagram who's been actually designing this for quite a while. So I don't know if he's quite finished with it. But yeah, I am familiar with that indeed. Move to Florida, brother, says Omnipotent One. I was just in Miami a few days ago. Florida is nice and you can do whatever you want with emissions there. It's just that my kids are still in school and they're quite young, so it's not very easy for me to uproot right now and head over to the East Coast. BC, is there a BMW engine you think is reliable or high-end in terms of quality? Ooh, Thanos. I was gonna say the N series, but I've seen some challenges there. Until I become extremely intimate with those engines, I don't think I'll be in the best position to answer that question at this time. What's new for Bisimoto in 2025, says Omnipotent One? Well, we are gonna be still pushing the envelope in terms of technology. I do, without giving too much away, plan on playing with a very exotic fuel that can give zero to no emissions, but then have the sound of internal combustion while creating up to 30% more power than a standard petrol engine. So it will look like an internal combustion, it will be an exotic fuel, it will have zero to no emissions, but also provide 30% more power. Boy Toy, I think you're on the path there, you know? My pleasure indeed, Thanos. Sammy sent me $9. Thank you so much, Sammy Valdez. Appreciate you indeed. Appreciate it. Garage Tour says Robert Jahan Gandhi. 2 reasons why I can't do that. First reason, which is the most important, is I have a whole assembly here, which is very difficult to move around. I have this kind of light assembly, and you see that here. I have multiple cameras. My friends here on TikTok, I have you on Instagram, YouTube. I also have another archiving moment through all the podcast networks right here on the bottom. So it's a kind of big array, very big assembly. And secondly, there's some kind of secret cars back there that I can't quite show. In your periphery here, you can see I have a twin turbo Cayman, twin turbo center seat, 914, electrified center seat, the Bisimoto inside, the wagon. On the other side of the wagon you can't quite see is the Action EG turbo with suppressor gearbox. In front of the black car, you can't see it either, is another Colani, which is a very, very unique vehicle. And then through here, you can see the Action 935 twin turbo right there. And you can see the team, let's say, for you guys on YouTube, or right here, you guys here. You can kind of see the prologue, getting some nice opportunities for improvement with my good friend Brandon from Brando's Auto Care, making it happen. SRD Motorsport says, okay, now he's here. He's on YouTube from Instagram. So he went from Instagram to YouTube. And I see some people go from YouTube to TikTok. Just follow me everywhere. I'm all over the place. Trash says, hello, BC. Hello to you, Trash. Thank you so much for joining. Wagaban F2W says, Total Tech, you're right. I built the first one, put it out there, and now I built the second one, which I'm really thinking, guys, let me know what you think. I'm gonna do a little survey here. So your input is quite important to me. Should I, because I kind of want people to kind of experience this wagon. It needs to be somewhere someone can enjoy it. Do you think that I should raffle the wagon and the CRZ? I guess there are 2 cars that we have here that I'm thinking I can give anyone a chance to win it. Let's say for, I don't know, $100. Do a $100 raffle, and you can put in the chance to win the wagon and win the CRZ. How cool would that be? So you can put in, you know, buy some equipment or buy some shirts or something from Bisimoto and get all these tickets, and then we can probably raffle off in like a month or so. Let me know what you guys think. And one of you could drive this for just $100 or as many entries as you want. Let me know what you think. That thing is 777 to the wheels, which is close to 1,000 crank, all-wheel drive, sequential gearbox, beautiful interior, just absolutely fantastic. Nice Garrett turbo on it as well. Nice upgrades, absolutely fantastic. So let me know what you guys think, and maybe I can make that happen, you know? Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your loss, Omnipotent. So sorry to hear about that. Do you think making a car electric for racing is worth it? Says Boy Toy Click. I'll answer your question with an answer that is pretty straightforward. If you go outside, you're very welcome, Omnipotent One. if you go outside my garage right now, because I had a car in a dyno earlier on, a race car, you will see the Bisimoto Tesla Plaid, black on black with a parachute. That vehicle at Irwindale, first time out, ran like a high 6.1. It spanks almost everything out there. By the way, I drove to the track with AC on street tires, and I was spanking Novas, Chevelles, Corvettes that were fully built on slicks that were towed. So long answer to a short question, yes. It is worth racing, absolutely. And the torque that these things make are amazing. I can't imagine how much I need to spend to build an internal combustion car that can pass emissions and run low 9s to high 8s on street tires. It'll cost a lot more than a Tesla Model S Plaid, by all means, you know? If you do a raffle, I'm entering ASAP, said Omnipotent One. Omnipotent One, thank you so much, will do. CRZ, low-key, the modern day EG hatch. Very true, and you can get those up very nicely, you know? So yeah, I have some thumbs up here with that. Maybe I'll make that happen. Just curious, so the question I had to all of you guys is, should I put the CRZ and the wagon through Raffling? And so any one of you all across the world can win it, probably even fly you down to receive it or help ship it to you, whatever the case may be. I think that'd be a great way to have, instead of just sitting here in the garage collecting dust, you guys can experience the beauty of Bisimoto, and someone out there can enjoy the wagon and have a lot of fun, you know? User 857-46779-85595 says, bro, just give me a car. I'm sorry. I wish I was there. I'm not quite there to be able to just give away a car, so please forgive me. Please forgive me. EV Nissan Juke build. We have something coming. Ty Bowker, you said Nissan? We have something coming your way. I got a gifter badge from user 857-467977228. I missed her. But thank you so much. Can we see the wagon? Once again, guys, it's kind of hard. Forgive me, but I won't be able to carry this away. But if you go on the Bisimoto YouTube feed, you will see a ton of videos around my first and second wagon, you know? I want to be a race car driver, says user. Please do it, by all means. I got another gifted badge from you. Appreciate that. The Gearhead Court says, how good the BC, good seeing you. What's up, man? You look great, says Mickey 10 Toes. Thank you so much. Appreciate that indeed. Wow, so much love here from YouTube. Appreciate all of you guys. No hoard them forever, never let them go. No, hoard them forever, don't let them go, says King Crunk. I can always build new cars. I can always build it. And the reason why I came to that is someone asked about the wagon. There's one that was sold and someone's building it. Forgive the noise in the background. And then it's just sitting here. Someone's gonna enjoy it. I may miss it and build a third one. Who knows? Who knows, huh? You're serious to making 800 horsepower with an F22 Accord engine? Let's have a quick breakdown. Oh, on the Putter one, I'll be more than happy to oblige. Here's how you make an 800 horsepower plus F22 Accord engine non-VTEC. Headwork. Just don't go crazy with porting. A little cleanup. The F22A1, A6, A4, those heads flow in stock form almost as much as many ported B series. So just clean up little flash marks. Upgrade your valves, go Bisimoto Pro Springs. Then, with the valve train, you know the rocker assemblies, they have these pads on them. The pads are a bit of a limitation because those cams in factory F22As are very small, for lack of a better word. Send in your rocker arms. We can do what we call a hard welding on the rocker arms. We're gonna build up and make the pads longer on each rocker. Go with a Bisimoto level 3.6 camshaft, non-VTEC. So you have the head cleaned up. You have stainless steel intake and exhaust valves. Bisimoto Pro springs and retainers. Level 3.6 cam gear. Then you sleeve the block. Go with the factory bore. You can probably go with 86 millimeter bore, so it can give you a little bit more room in case you want to go a little bit bigger if you have any mishaps. So 86 millimeter sleeved. Some Tron pistons, I would do 10.5 to 1. Some Bisimoto rods, maybe 10.5 long rod setup from us. Factory crank, leave the 95 millimeter crank alone. You can shim your oil pump and clean up any flash marks, and I would say WPC coat the crankshaft, your bearings, and the inners of your oil pump. Slap on a Prelude style damper assembly from ATI. Get like an action clutch. You don't even have to go twin disc. You could, but you can get away with 2MS. Transmission wise, you have a couple options. You go to H to B, or you can do something that's Prelude in nature, or even need to factor quarter ones in there. Intake manifold, Golden Eagle makes a very nice one that you can use to allow it to flow a lot more. Or you can get an H23 one and pour it out, like extrude hone it or pour it out quite nicely. Go with a 74 millimeter throttle body, 70 to 74 millimeter throttle body. A decent sized turbo. You can go with the G series. I think there's G35 1050, I believe, you can go around with. You can do liquid to air or air to air intercooling, 2200 cc injectors. You can do E85, and then pump wise, either you do quite a few inline AM pumps, or you can go with a single, what's a good pump? I was gonna say Steel Lab or Weldon. The Weldons are so loud. You can probably get away with, yeah, Weldon would be good. You can do a Weldon, something decent. And voila, that's it. Engine management solution. You can still find some AM units out there. You can do Haltech, you can do Hondata. I do like engine management solutions like Motec and AEM that kind of give you a lot more, flexibility for tuning and a lot of safety protocols that's built in place. Should be good, What are your plans for a CRZ, says Kiba. Greetings from Africa. I may just raffle it off. I may just put out there for raffle and have any one of you win it. Let me know if that's a good idea. Tyler J gave me a gifter badge. Thank you so much. Appreciate that indeed. What's new, says the Gearhead Core, just here at the Bisimoto facilities. You can hear the guys back there are making some great noise and having some fun, building some amazing projects. BC, with that, you might accidentally hit 900 horsepower. Yes, you could. I like to over-engineer my parts. So I was just sharing this with the team last week. We tend to build projects to see where we can push it and maximize it, and we back off 30%. So with that power plant setup, with those rods and the pistons and the sleeving, it's good for 4-digit power, but for 800, yeah, you'll be just fine, especially with that turbocharger, Kiva says, how much? I own a CRZ and I've been trying to build something similar for 3 years. Well, if I do raffle it off, it'll be just like a $100 entry per person. $100 entry, and you have a chance of winning it. So let me know if that's something I should pursue. I'll probably do the CRZ and also the wagon. And if there's no interest, I just hold on to the cause. But if there's interest, I'd rather the vehicles be out there in your hands than just sitting here in my showroom chilling, Oh my God, the single cam CRX guy, LOL, says JZX90. Yes, in the flesh. Thank you so much for realizing that. The wagon in the back is a beast. I miss your CRX. That was always a total shock. So many memories, says Clubber Lang 777. Thank you so much. Yeah, we were at Elite Motorsports for quite a while. That car we did a lot of modifications at that facility. At that time, I didn't really have my own shop, so I used to be there quite a bit, working on it and doing some fab work and all that fun stuff. So it was good times. The CRX is still alive and well. It's in the capable hands of my very good friend, Eric Serrato. He, unfortunately, put a twin cam engine boosted in there, but at least Nemo will be back on the track where it belongs, instead of just sitting in my garage at home collecting dust, What's your next big project, says Smart Chant? I do want to finish the Neo EP9. There's a Neo EP9 here, which is an all-wheel drive, crazy 1,300 horsepower hypercar electric. I also have a couple client cars here that we need to really get out there very soon. So I plan on having that started this week. So pay attention to some very new updates with some projects going up here, but that seems to be the new one. We're also already gearing up for SEMA this year. So very soon you'll see some very nice SEMA projects coming from the Bisimoto stable. That should be quite exciting for Vegas later on this year. Well, a turbo CRZ would be my first in my country. To my knowledge, I would enter the raffle, but what turbo did you use? G28? No, back then, I believe we used a 54 millimeter Turbonetics turbo for back then, because mind you, we built that car for American Honda in 2010. Excuse me. So it's been a while. So that's the technology we had back then. I think the wheel's even cast. I don't think it's even a billet wheel. So that being said, it has some old school, very nice technology, but still so beautiful in this conjunction where the hybrid and turbos work so well. And because we removed a lot of restrictions in the intake and exhaust, if you keep up throttle and just cruise, your gas mileage is actually better than factory. Now you may think, how is that possible? Well, it takes energy to ingest air into your engine through a restrictive intake tract. That takes energy, and energy has to be fueled somehow, right? And it also takes energy to push gases out through a restrictive exhaust. So that being said, you remove those restrictions, appropriate amount of fuel to be able to stay within stoichiometry, and you voila, have a more efficient setup. Now, when you gain the boost, everything goes up. And by the way, we tested that theory on the Bisimoto involved Motor Mythbusters. So I think that's still on Max. And you can also see on Motor Trend. If you go there and look up the CRC challenge, Tori and I literally drive around on flat surfaces, upgrades, racing, and then we kind of weigh our fuel, and you'll see that it's pretty nice that you can remove restrictions and improve gas mileage significantly. The 914 is beautiful, says Devil Made Blaine. Thank you so much for kind words, just here. Mario had the E30 M3 wide body. Nice setup indeed. Always love your projects, says Loser247. Thank you so much. I want to understudy you so bad. There are not enough Honda geniuses in South Africa, says Kiba. Yeah, US, you're quite a bit of ways. And we have a lot of variety here. We talked about Jay Leno earlier. Think of me as the Jay Leno performance. In this facility, we have everything from Hyundais to Porsches to Hondas to VWs to Rolls Royces. We just love cars. Okay, let's see here. Wow, time is flying. The hour is almost 9. Okay, let's see what Project EG2 says. My B18C 1 Del Sol, which is a very nice setup, it's a GSR engine, with old school Jackson Racing supercharger, makes 232 horsepower and 210 torque. Not bad. Local to Ontario, if you ever want to see it. Thank you so much. That's a nice setup. Yeah, that should be a lot of fun indeed. Keep it up. Keep the old school products going. Love it, love it, love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure interacting with all of you. I must head back to work. I have a ton of wiring to do and projects to take care of. Appreciate all of you joining me here on this Tech Tuesday. I look forward to seeing you next week at the same time. Maybe the same location, maybe something different. Thank you so much for your support and all the great things, and I appreciate all of your interaction. In the meantime, stay safe, keep an open mind, because, you know, we live in a great time, a time where we can experience a variety of automotive excellent opportunities, variety of performance opportunities, variety of mobility solutions, where you can do electric, hybrids, gasoline, hydrogen, ethanol, methanol, nitro. God, we live in a great time. Not many people can say they've lived in a time like this where there's so much opportunity to have a lot of fun. And guys, let's have some fun, keep it that way, keep it safe, and keep it going. That's it for me today. Take care, everyone. Have a pleasant one. Cheers. Bye-bye.